Welcome back everyone to Welstopia. I have completed my hopper system to feed into my sorting and storage system. I have a hopper system now going all the way from my fish farm. Yeah, it is visible, but with the light there, I'm not going to worry about that for the time being. Maybe someday I'll drop it down so it's invisible, but this is not the day. Now, one viewer was asking about all the chests that were visible, and I decided to agree with the viewer, and I removed the chests and hooked everything directly into the hopper system, and then updated the build so that where the chest used to be is now properly blending in with everything else. I also added these stone brick stairs in order to make this look better, and I think it does. I think it looks a lot better now. Good. So that concludes my input into my system, at least until I add more farms to the whole thing. Now there is one major task that is left with this sorting area, and that is to make this look nice. But I am going to have to save that for another episode because today we are going to be starting on a completely new project. Welcome everyone to the Welstopia theme park and zoological park. And this is where I will be building for the next episode or two. Now, this is not just my work. In fact, I only have a small part of the work here. This is a large collaborative build here on the server. And zoo builders get some free lunch there. But I prefer salmon to regular fish, and they have regular fish there at the moment. So I'll just use the food I have with me until, of course, I start to run out. Now, what I'll be building will be a tunnel. And first I want to show you one of the other tunnels that is present inside of this. And this particular tunnel is a tunnel through the river, which is actually nice and traditional because having tunnels through rivers is fairly common. And in this case, the idea is to make this also an aquarium so that on one side we'll have some guardians and we'll also have some squid. I can see some squid in the distance over there. And I'm sure as we're in the area, more squid will start spawning in order to help populate the area. But the main thing that they're going to be putting in there will be some guardians to make this nice and complete in there. Alright, so that's an example of a tunnel that we have. Now, my tunnel is not going to be going under a river. It is a more straightforward case, so we'll see that in a moment. Now, down here we are in an area where we have the main part of the zoological park where we've got the chickens, the pigs. This is a passive mob area. Let's see. That's a bit of a circular area there. And then down here, oh boy, it's very easy to get lost in this place, and that's my main challenge right now is to being able to find everything. We'll see a mushroom. We don't have everything in here yet. And then we have regular cattle. So let me... Oh, here we go. No wonder I didn't see it. And we'll have a mule here. Now, this is the start of the tunnel, though I have quite a bit of work I need to do in order to create what I want here. Now, on the other side of this, that's just a temporary dock here, we will be having a path going down here. And this is going to eventually be leading into various things like the more aggressive mobs that you could run into. So we have the passives down here, we'll have the aggressives down here, and some of the other types down there are the ones that are in between. And there you can see the tunnel down there. There's the bridge. So you see I have quite a crescent all throughout the air. But it just shows you how large the aquarium is, that you've got it going all the way through there. So, let's see what we need in order to build this thing. As I'll be passing under various exhibits, it will make sense for me to head down underground by going deeper, tunneling down, and curving back up on the other side, similar to what's happening down on the tunnel down there. So that's the first thing that I'm going to be planning on doing, is to adding a little bit of curve into there, having it come straight in the middle and then curve back up on the other end. So I'll be following suit with that particular tunnel. Oh, I just gotta see what's in that hole. You see this big, massive hole up ahead, and you wonder, what's in there? Now, obviously, looks like, oh no, those are flowers. I was thinking someone must have explored inside there already, but I want to see. Ah, all right. Looks more impressive than it is. It looks like just a big area that's been hollowed out over time, but it's not anything like a big, deep tunnel or anything like that. All right. Curiosity satisfied, for the moment at least. But now, we need to get down into digging on this, so that we can go over there and not interfere with the pens that are up above us. And I'm thinking that this would be a good place to start our digging. Yeah, right here, we can start our descent. So let me bring out my pickaxe, which I made sure I got to nice and full at the moment, and then we'll start this over here. And then on the other end, down here, I guess right here would be a good place to start. And we've got quite a mixture of materials that I have to get through. Oh, okay, I do have a shovel here. Making sure I've got the right tool for everything. Alright, and then we'll go here and here. And of course, we've got these nice soft materials down on this end. Now, I've had to put something more durable in the end. Now, we want some... Oh, I have a single torch. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's the torch I just picked up. Alright, so I'll start to put torches all over the place and making sure that we don't have anything blow up. Because the idea there is to go from here down to the other side. Now let me count how long this is, and from there we can make our plans. The total length of the tunnel is 40 blocks. I'll be going from that trench down to the other trench inclusive. Now that means I will go down for 10, straight for 20, up for 10, and that would be good. The steps down, that will be done in half slabs, then full slabs alternating, therefore giving a nice, gentle downward slope. And now with 5 blocks to work with down, plus the 3 here, what I'm going to do is to hollow out one or both sides of the tunnel in the center area and create a mushroom house. And that will be the mushroom exhibit for this particular park. So now I need to gather my materials. While I'm going about my searching, I found the other tunnel that we have in here. This is the entrance. And you can see he did this in all grand style, full of lighting in red, rolled out the red carpet and everything. And I wanted to come out here in search of the supply chest so I could have some supplies so I could gather what I need and decide if I could get it here or if I should go back to my base. And it's snowing! I was completely unable to find what I was looking for, so I will get the materials the old-fashioned way by excavating them, since I have to dig this out anyway, and I have all this smooth stone I'll be getting as a result of them doing all my digging. So I'll just dig this out and make my first round of materials from that. I'll probably be replacing that afterwards, but first I'll be just using stone for what I want, and I am probably going to have to throw in some lighting in here to keep mobs from giving me a nice rude interruption. So I'm going to dig all of this out and then start putting out my flooring to get my levels proper. The excavation part is complete. We are now down here. We move across here. And then we move back up here. That's all perfect. Now, of course, the ceiling is going to have to also follow suit. But that could be done later, because the first stage is to get the flooring right to make sure that everything will work. I believe that once this comes out, the path is going to follow down in this direction. So I think this should be able to work into that. This is probably going to be the main style of the path when it hits into that point. As for what we're going to do with the floor, I'm going to think on that for a little while. Because right now, I think we need to see what we can do with those side rooms. Here we are at the center of the tunnel. And I'm going to be creating a side passage here. Now this side passage is for our exhibits, so we don't need to go in too deeply. I'm going to have one layer of wall, and most likely there is going to be some glass along interspersed with whatever the regular wall is. Right now I'm thinking that maybe I could have wood supports alternating with glass, maybe 2 or 3 per wood, so maybe wood here, then glass, wood, wood, something like that. So you can see into there, and we are going to have a little mushroom display in here. And how large that's going to be, I'm not sure, because I am going to have to excavate this out to be a significant size, because we are going to be growing some large mushrooms in here. Now, the real challenge, of course, in a mushroom exhibit is lighting, because it has to be dark enough for mushrooms, but light enough to discourage mobs from spawning. So, how am I going to handle this? Well, the answer to that, of course, is Podzol, because Podzol allows you to grow mushrooms at any light level, and since I live in a mega spruce biome, it says redwood forest in game. I think it has other people call them other things. Mega taiga, I think, is the other name that's used for it. And the idea of living in a mega taiga is that you can get Podzol quite easily. But now let me excavate this out and see if I could start working on getting some Podzol down there. Here is our floor. Now to get some dirt on here. Now you say, well, why am I putting dirt here if I'm going to be using Podzol? That's because if I used Podzol for every place in here, I will very quickly run out of Podzol. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first put down dirt, and then I'm going to replace some of it with podzol. That way I could hopefully get things looking reasonable. I don't know how good or bad it's going to look, but let's see. Maybe interspersing some podzol with dirt in there. Now, the big trouble with dirt is its tendency to turn into grass, and that's of course I'm underground, and when you're underground and have no, well, I don't know if underground has anything to do with it, but if you're not anywhere near any grass blocks, then you're not going to get grass growing there. Good. For once, that mechanic is going to be just what I need. All right, let's place some of this with podzol. And let's get a little bit here. Over here. Actually, I am going to need some here because at least in the center point of each of the sides, because I am going to need a room in which for a giant mushroom to grow. And I think I'll need to put a couple right here then. And I have to be careful on that. This is not a silk touch shovel, so I'll have to be careful when I'm near the podzol. Alright, now I am going to need things to be a little higher on the ceiling, so more digging. Now that we've done our excavation, let's throw in a few mushrooms. We'll make sure you got enough room for a giant one in addition to any small ones that we make. Now, we've had a few small ones all over the area, and they will do nice and grow, especially those that aren't too close to the torches. Now, giant mushroom. This is going to be a bit of an experiment. I think this is going to be large enough, but I only have 3 bone meal with me. So we'll see how this works. Well, I think that worked. Alright, so feasibility test passes. That's good to see. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Yeah, alright. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Well, that's not going to fit. Well, I am going to have to widen this thing up a little bit so that I have room for more than one of these. But from the point of view of feasibility, looks like I can get my little mushroom farm here. Though right now, I think the scaling is a little bit off, and that I'm going to need to widen this room up a bit so that I have plenty of room to make this look nice and natural. And here we have it. We've got a pair of mushrooms here, plus we have many smaller ones all over the place. Now the walls are going to have to be converted into some sort of mural, and we have to go a little bit higher on the wall here on how they're decorated, but it is a start. I have white stained glass through each of the main windows, plus in the little window that's above the door. Now this side we have the red mushrooms, and on this side we have the brown mushrooms. So I have one for each side that can be viewed as you're going from one side all the way across to the other side. That's quite a bit for today. We have the tunnel in having its basic shape carved out, and we have the side rooms, our mush rooms, so to speak, on either side. But of course, there's still a bit more to do. We need to decorate the rest of these walls, plus the walls in the mushrooms, and of course, the floor. Trying to make this place as mob-proof as possible. But that will be in our next episode of Pineleaf Plays Minecraft Welstopia.